continue standing, I'd like to welcome Michelle Orozco to sing our Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the rampart we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and rockets restless, the bomb bursting in air, get through the night, that flag was still there. Oh, say the Star-Spangled Banner yet waves o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Michelle. You may all be seated. So the best stories of CET, of course, staff, we talk about CET as proudly as we can, but sometimes the best stories come from our students. So up next, I'd like to invite 3 of our students who are going to give a little bit of their story and background on how CET helped them. So first, I'd like to welcome for our Medical Administrative Assistant class, Francis Caballero Puga.
I can please. I get over. Okay, good morning. My name is Francis Caballero Puga. I recently graduated from the Medical Administrative class. I decided to come to CET because I was tired of working in the field. I always wanted to become someone better in my future. Since I was young, I used to say that one day I will be a doctor. When I was 12 years old, my dad had to have surgery. I used to go to all my dad's appointments because I needed to translate for my dad. At the appointment, his doctor asked me if I wanted to go inside the operating room, and I decided to go inside. Working off my dad's surgery, the doctor told me that I was going to go in with him, so I saw all the procedures that my dad was getting at that time. The doctor told me that one day, when I grow up, if I wanted to go work with him, he was going to be able to give me a work there. This is in San Jose State. So he told me, whenever you need a recommendation letter, I'm going to give it to you. After this, I decided that I wanted to, my goal to go on. My dad also graduated from here. He also told me I should still go to school one day. Important thing that I had to do is consideration before enrolling. I was the fact that I would be traveling, even though the fact that I lived in Salinas, I had to travel so far to come to school. I used to get up at 4:45 in the morning, get ready, get my girl, and take him to the babysitter so I can make it in time to the bus stop, because the bus left at 6 a.m. The class was very easy to take. I enjoyed and learned a lot, and I made a lot of friends. The final part of my class, the final part came, which it was my externship. I was waiting for this all the time that I was in school. I was so nervous because I wanted to get my externship already. So I started calling every single clinic that I could think of in Selena. And I was calling and calling and calling, and I was not getting any luck over there. I struggled for a whole month so I could find my externship. Even though it was hard, I still was not giving up because I couldn't find an externship over there. So one day, I decided to call to Detailed Vision Care, which is here in San Jose. I called around 9 o'clock in the morning. It was a Tuesday. And I told them if they were taking externship. And they said yes. So they made an appointment for the next day, which was a Wednesday. They told me if I could be there at 9. So I arrived there around 8:15, so I could, give her some questions. So when I went in, the manager was not there, and there were some other patients, and they were asking me questions, so I helped them. And the assistant from the vision care were telling me the issues. So I was helping the other patients regardless if I was there or not. So when the manager went in, she asked if Francis had come in. And they said, yes, she's been here since 8:15. So the manager was like, oh, okay. So can you get her in? So I went in back to the room with her. We had a conversation, and she told me if I was from San Jose. And I said, no, I'm from Salinas. So she stayed quiet. And suddenly my heart stopped for a little bit because I thought she was not going to take me because I was from Salinas and I was so far from San Jose. So she was like, is this going to be a problem for you, even though, it's too far? And I said, no, that has never put me in thought. I always love to commute, and I don't care if it's so far away from where I live. So she said, okay, you could start. When can you start? And I said, I can start right now. I have my stuff in the car. And she was so surprised about it, and she was like, you're the first girl that ever does that in a first interview. So what time would you like to come in? And I told her, give me about an hour so I could go enroll in school so they could give me my papers to come and do my externship. And she was like, okay. So I started around 11 o'clock in the morning. I was so excited, doing everything she asked me, and finished everything on time. I was there for 2 days and a half, and she called me back into the room. And she asked me, how are you liking our practice? And I was like, I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the people, I like the communication with the girls, the staff. And she told me, I like how you are, Francis. You like to be on top of everything. You're the girl that won't stay seated. I want to offer you a job. And I was like, yes, I'll take it, but I can't take it right now because I have to finish my externship. So she laughed. She was like, yes, I know. So once you're finished with your externship, you have a job in here. So I was very excited. I went home and I talked to my parents about it, that they offer a job. My dad was like, I'm very proud of you. So I got emotional. I started crying because I never thought they were going to hire me right then, even though I struggled a lot for this externship. So my externship finished. It was a Thursday around 10 o'clock in the morning. I came, dropped off my papers, went back to work, and I started officially working there. I was very happy because I work 5 days a week. I love my job, and I'm getting paid more than what I was getting paid at the field, which it was $8 an hour, working for 10 hours and getting paid so less money. I was so surprised that I got hired in this job because I thought I was never going to make it. Even though people were telling me, you're meant to work in the field. You can do nothing better than that. But I always had a dream that I wanted to be someone better, not only for me, but for my girls. I have 2 little girls. I wanted a better future for them, not to struggle the way I struggled. It was very hard for me because I had my girls suffer with me a lot because I had to get them up early. I didn't have time to see them, even though my little girl would tell me, Mom, I don't see you no more. But I used to tell her, Mommy, it's not because I don't want to, it's because I have to work. I have to go to school so I can give you something better. And she was like, you want to give us something better when I'm older, I'm going to work, and I'm going to help you, Mom, so you won't struggle for us no more. So what I did with this, I really want to thank my instructor, Melissa, because she helped me in everything. She always told me, don't listen to bad people that always used to tell me, oh, no, you don't know how to do nothing better. You have to stay in the field. She just told me to put everything aside and just think about the good things. Not only because of me, but because of my girl. So I want to thank you, Melissa, and for always being there for me when I needed you. And that's it. Thank you.
That was really great.
Thank you, Frankie. That's amazing. You need more tissue? I have some. Okay. You guys better like that. Up next, from Automotive Specialist Class, James Potter II.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here and supporting
No,
our
that's
graduating
what
class of 2013. For all the graduates here today, congratulations on the successful completion of your program training. To all of the CET staff, from the maintenance staff to the director, to state, it wouldn't have been possible without any of you. I want to say that CET is not a school, but that it is a movement. Those words are pretty true here today. As I stand here to speak about what CET has done in my life, I can't help but think that each one of us coming up here on stage today has their own story. Each one has overcome obstacles of some sort, stuck to our training and things seemed impossibly difficult. And it continues onward toward their goal. And again, I want to commend all of my fellow graduates for their achievement. Today, I'm going to tell my story. CET has indeed changed my life. When I came to CET in early March of 2013, I just overcome being homeless. I used to speak to my dad. I also overcame chronic substance abuse problems. It was at this time in early March of 2013 that the VA offered me financial assistance for job training to further help me turn my life around. I thought that I had to take advantage of that opportunity, as I had no idea if I'd ever get another one. I enrolled in the Automotive Specialist Training Program and began on March 26, 2013. I completed my program on December 16, 2013. During those months, there were many difficulties that really made it impossible for me to attend the classes. I've been a single father, and getting help and money for child care costs was going nowhere. My 2 children are sitting there. My
children's mother's work schedule made it difficult for her to help except for one day a week. I reached out for help to the CET Class and friends and neighbors. By the grace of God, I always seemed to have a friend who taught me and a flexible teaching staff who steadfastly worked with me on my attendance schedule. I remember so many nights of staying up studying for tests until 2 or 3 in the morning. There were even a few nights where I didn't sleep at all. I didn't think I was going to last for the duration of my training on so little sleep. I did though, and I'm here to prove that. When I began the automotive training program, I knew little about automotive systems, repair, and maintenance. Over the months, my knowledge began to grow. I became hungry for more. I would ask endless questions of my teachers, Kristen Kano and Jaime Tovar, as I wanted to know everything I could about today's vehicles. Those two men taught me more than I even signed up for. I went from barely knowing how to change a flat tire to replacing intake manifold gaskets. Had gaskets and timing belts in a few months. In fact, I became so good at replacing timing belts. My teacher, Kristen King, nicknamed me the timing belt guy. During the course of my training, as I grew comfortable with automotive repair, I started a mobile mechanic service. I began growing in business very rapidly. The last customer I served was for replacing a radiator on a jail prison. It took me about an hour, and I made $70 on that job. During the last 3 months of my training, I even worked on Saturdays at a small repair shop near our program's training site to further hone my skills and begin building my resume. When I finished my training on December 16th, I posted my resume at several job search sites and visited a few shops in person. I applied for a few positions online as well. I immediately began receiving calls. The job I was really after was an entry-level technician position at Myers, where I could gain more experience and work towards my goal of becoming an AC certified master technician down the road. Well, I was called on Myers. Just 3 days after finishing schooling, I began working for them soon after. I'm today a full-time entry-level automotive service technician, thanks to my training at CET. I would also my teachers, Kristen Kano and Jaime Tovar, along with the rest of the staff here, and in particular, Jaime Negus, for helping me with my scheduling difficulties and my attendance issues. Gentlemen, living a life from the movie, they are ambassadors of fun. We used to say in the Marines, mission accomplished. Here's what I look like now. Thank you.
That's amazing. Our final student speaker is from our culinary arts class. Please welcome Frank Villa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. How y'all doing? It's great to see you all. I told myself a couple days ago that I'm going to write this very eloquent speech. That way, I don't trip over my tongue and make a complete idiot of myself in front of everybody. Well, needless to say, life showed up. I've been extremely busy, and I found myself early this morning trying to get some curtain notes. But after hearing 2 speakers and fellow graduates before me, I've been able to retain some information that they express as so nicely up here. And James had mentioned he knew CET not as a school, but like an organization. Me personally, being 49 years old, I've always known CET as being a school. I remember when this place was Woodrow Wilson Junior High School. My older brother used to come there.
And there's a lot of history for my older brother in this school. I'll just leave it at that. So I've always known CET as being a place where you learn things. So when I was able to enroll here through referral of a government-funded agency, I was greeted by one individual who I don't see here. I've been scanning all over the place. Henry, are you here anywhere? Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay. The one individual who, it doesn't matter what the weather was like outside, what he may be feeling at that time, he always had a smile on his face. Always had a smile on his face. And for you, Henry, you and I, you know what I'm talking about. Okay? I met Henry Rubin, and he started telling me about the programs that were offered here at Center for Employment Training. One really sparked my interest, and that was culinary arts. And the reason why culinary sparked an interest in me is because at a very young age, I've always aspired to cook, just like my inspiration when it came to good taste and good taste in food, and that being my older sister, Christine. She always made everything to perfection in my eyes. And I always wanted to replicate that, duplicate it as best as possible. So when the opportunity to get into school and learn more about how to cook and culinary arts, I jumped all over it. I think the only thing that I was resistant on was the fact that I had to become familiar with the French language. I didn't think that was going to be possible for me. But as the weeks progressed, things just started to fall into place. And my fellow classmates taught me open-mindedness and a willingness to interact outside of my comfort zone. And for that, I thank each and every one of you for that. The growth I've experienced working alongside each and every one of you has just been overwhelming. And thanks again. My instructors. Wow. What can I say about my instructors? Some people can turn around and come up here and say that, oh, they're instructors, they taught me this, they taught me that. And don't get me wrong, my instructors did just that. But they also opened my eyes into a new way of expressing myself through cooking. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to Chef Rochelle Ziegler, Chef Ricardo Cortez, Chef Karen, and also Chef Juan, who's not here. They taught me so much. They really, really have. And it's something because, you know, it's the supreme art of an instructor to awaken joy in creative expression and knowledge. And you did that for me. Not only did you instruct me, but you embedded into my conscience how you would do it. It wasn't written in scripture. It was just suggested to me of how you would do it. And with that, I was able to be creative and go outside of that comfort zone. I want to share something really quick with you guys. The last thing I made in this kitchen here at Center for Employment Training was cream of broccoli soup. Okay. Now, in this cream of broccoli soup, there is a certain method and procedure you follow in order to get a nice, bright, green product. When you're finishing the product, you want that cream of broccoli soup to look beautiful. Well, for my liking, mine wasn't green enough. So, when Chef Ricardo wasn't looking, I went over to
Chef Rochelle, it's like, Chef Rochelle, I want to hear a quick secret story. Do you have any great food coloring? So she, not knowing what I was doing, she gave me the green food coloring. Well, guys, I don't know if anybody's used green food coloring before, but it's not like those little shiny droplet ones. This is the industrial food coloring. So I put this spoon, and it's a thicker type of substance. So I just wanted to put one drop of that, put it on the tip of the spoon. I tap it, it's not kind of loose. I'm doing it, it's almost like camera's glue. The thing doesn't want to drop in it. So I swipe it harder. 5 drops goes into it. This stuff became Shrek soup. It's fire and with just bright green. So, my entire classmates, they're in the kitchen. Oh my God, get this Chef Ricardo, get Chef Ricardo. Oh, he's going to come with blue. Okay. So I made sure that everybody had their chemicals ready, had the lid over it. I said, okay, well, let's see. Like, are you sure? So then he's looking a little confused because he can't understand why is there a crowd, why does everybody have the camera on? So I popped the lid. The look on his face, but he took it very, very well. He took it very well. You know, he's a colorful sentence that I will not repeat, but yes, he took it very, very well. I had great times. While I was learning new things, and getting ready for my next adventure. I look forward to my next adventure, just like I know everybody who's in Captain Down right now looks forward to their new adventure. And I know we all have our own stories of trials and tribulations that life puts before us. But guess what? We got through this. So that, and I said this before when I spoke to just the students. That's running material. What I mean by running, all the graduates now are tough skins. You're moving forward, you're not moving back. Always move forward, never move back. I want to thank, really quick before I close, my friend Amy, the Native American community, definitely my girlfriend, Catherine, for being so supportive, the staff, and Center for Employment Training, Henry, for making me laugh, everybody's just been great from top to bottom. And lastly, I want to close